Oh hi, it's Stir, and welcome back to Minecraft RTX Survival. I'm Dishwan, of course, and let's continue. So I'm not quite sure what to do today because I don't. I guess we just keep going for resources because, well, gotta need to in order to set up the the floral fort in a good and timely manner, and I have to come back here every I come back here during the days. Deep slate we don't deep slate in their circle. I am actually almost out of that pick, but I have the next one good. How many? Oh, we got plenty. Actually, no. Let's just start working on the fort. Let's build a path, then build then let's build a path and then start planning out our fort. I love this magical forest that we do a walkthrough. Hello, trader. Hello. But yeah, no, like things have changed in the last 3 days, and it makes the possibility of the second coming or first coming, if you prefer, of Jesus Christ coming this 23rd of September 20, 2025 a reality, or something big's coming regardless. And that's because of the giant Christian and conservative revival happening right now in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination and martyrdom. Saying martyrdom isn't exactly correct because he didn't start the day with thoughts of he would with thoughts of he you know with thoughts wait there's a hole here with thoughts of martyring himself, but that's what happened. So yeah, just walking around trying to get a feel for the area. I do want this fort to be pretty big, and I do want to keep the flowers intact. Horsin, actually not horsin, donkey, and also sheepy. Uh, I think I'm gonna start up here. So maybe this fort's not gonna be a castle. Maybe it will be a castle. We'll see. I don't have enough dirt, but I do have enough cobblestone to kind of eke out an area. So let's make this kind of a welcoming building to the fort, the floral fort. Now watch out for that hole. Got those flowers, and yeah. So that's one of the things I wanted to talk about was just the ever possibility of, or the singularity that's going on. A lot of people are really starting to get, excuse me, zombies. Well, they're probably in. Oh, there's probably a cave here. But yeah, no, like I think great revival going on, and I actually figured out something about the past, and that is, I'm pretty sure that Adam and Eve was me and Casey back then. Back then the creator and Lucky Charm, and his Lucky Charm, and yeah, back then back then there was no evil because we did not do any evil, but evil came about because when we started trying to recreate us with mortals, people born inside of inside of the universe, who are need to be trained to become one of us. What we discovered is, talking linear time there, not talking infinite time. Oh, that's not good. Okay, and let's have a door over here. Robin. There we go. Actually, let's plot this place out a bit more. Actually, I went through there. I went to that. I went to that. Without thinking. So let's try that instead. The welcoming building. So let's do that line of the fort. I don't worry about the doorway or anything like that. Again, I'm calling it the Floral Fort because it sounds very nice. Even if it's not entirely correct. We're making probably a castle, let's be honest. I'm going to incorporate somewhat into the design. Because why not? Even if it's not, the foremost thing of this world. Watching the clock. And also I'm going to build one big, not to use the president's words, but let's use the president's words. Big, beautiful wall all around the fort. Let's not harm this precious flower. But like that's where I believe the story of Genesis comes from. It doesn't have to do anything with Earth and the solar system in Milky Way galaxy in the last few thousand years, but has everything to do with the beginning of everything that the old souls that come from that time remember subconsciously. Even though they've been reincarnated in, millions of times, probably. Now, actually, let's just go around this hole. Got some seeds. I love this mod so much. It's such a good mod. Actually, let's incorporate this whole into... Pink. Let's incorporate this whole into the design. I'm pressing right click game. Oh, because I was standing on it. Again, it's really hard to tell with quick vision. But that is also what the flood is. The Great Flood, happened because the mortals of this, of this beginning world chose evil options instead of good options. And that goes to what happens in the Bible, where Adam and Eve eat the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, and that would be not us, not us, God, and not us during luck, but actually the first people, the first non-us people of the beginning of creation, of the beginning of all existence. They picked a bunch of wrong options because they're just so easy. They're just so easy to pick. They're always so tempting, and hence where the great what sins are. Sins are just really bad options. And I never quite understood why Christians believe they're all believe everyone's a sinner, because that's just not true. I mean, not everyone, seeks to commit sins all the time. And I really, oh, we also need to get out of here. Let's sprint. How do you sprint in this game? Oh, that's determined, by the way. We went out too long. So let's book it back home. Eat the food. Like, we haven't sprinted this much in a long time. Since we were doing Bedrock. Actually, have we sprinted that much in Bedrock? It's really hard to when there are monsters everywhere. Speaking of, where in the world are they? We're playing on hard, remember? But at least we get to see our creations at night. And back home safe. But yeah, so the first flood was after me and Luck purged, or after me and Luck got our first victory. Luck playing the villain, me playing the hero. Commanding our force. I'm with me commanding the good side and her commanding the bad side, or bad side in quotation marks. My heroes, her villains. And what we've been having to do up until humans came about. Just natural, just natural souls being souls and life being life. Which again, which something I haven't really said all that often, but I classify even stellar objects as life because they have needs. They grow and they die. They're born, they grow, and they die. Just like all of this. Just like plant life and animal life. It's just celestial bodies are also a kind of life. Stellar life, if you will prefer. But yeah, no, but yeah, the Great Flood would be of the first world, where it just was not possible to get to a victory on that planet against the null forces, against the enemy. So we had to just get rid of it and take all our heroes and villains that were, that we had at the time. So essentially, it was Noah's Ark, except Noah was a motley band of heroes and villains. Again, like there's a reason why these stories have become so entrenched in life. All the mortal life, all the intelligent life of all of creation. It's because these stories are better remembered than forgotten about. And and life subconsciously recognizes these stories from their previous incarnations, or the previous incarnation, or the old souls compared to the new ones. Like my sister and my grandparents and my dad have new souls. They're completely new. My mom's wasn't. I don't know who she was before, but I know who she was now. I don't know how long she's been Anreal Cobblestone. I don't know how long it's been for her to, I don't know how long. Actually, we gotta make these 3. I'm not liking these just having a door. We need them to be grand entrances. and exits onto the fort or castle, whatever you want to call it. But yeah. There we go. Like, how close were we? That's pretty good for just going off my profit instincts. Let's incorporate this whole into the design. But yeah, so the Great Flood wasn't something that happened on Earth, quite obviously. Like, there's been no evidence for the Great Flood ever. But you know, and then we gotta go back to get more cobblestone. Wish I could get an aerial view, but no, that's fine. And also we could make an arc. Oh, we can make a arch over that right there. That'd be pretty cool. Anyway, time to go back into the mines. We done our crafting. Now it's time to go back to the mining. Actually, while it's still light, let's ask some trees, some questions. How are their day and stuff like that. Nothing too villainous, even though we're going to be chopping them down. Let's be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves. No secrets between us and the trees, and you and me. But yeah, no, like, that's where I believe that's the origin of, I believe that's the origin of those stories, and probably most of Genesis are old, ancient, before, the formation of the Soul System stories. That would pass down from old souls to the new souls. I mean, of course, souls will still exist. We're not getting rid of those souls. They just reincarnate at different times. That's a big tree. Oh, no, that's a big tree. Is that a big tree? I sort of tell. But yeah. And we do get... I hope we have plenty of saplings. It's kind of hard to tell with my... with my very inefficient storage system. It concerns me that we're not getting saplings. I don't know why they made the drop rate for saplings and seeds so bad. That's what I thought. It's a big tree. Man, do I not like big trees. And they get in the way of my plans. Alright, Man, once you get used to diamond tools, it's hard to go back. Okay, let's see if any saplings have fallen. We bet if none have. Okay, we have some. We have one. Oh, that's not good at all. Three. I chopped down way more than that game. No, so, and also, the quote, biblically angels, unquote, could be just ways of, they could actually be things that exist, or they are metaphors for gods, for my ability as, you know, Big G, the Big G uppercase god. It is really hard to tell, or there are facets of, or there are real creatures, real angelic creatures, and they just you know, and they're just very weird looking. But they could come from and if they do, they probably come from ancient civilizations that God just took them in under his wing once their civilizations came to an end, and they run out of people to worship, you know, run out of worshippers to remain, you know, powerful of their gods, not them, of course, themselves, as those were probably angels of old gods. But yeah, now we got saplings. Good. I mean, we're down to the end, isn't it? Let's get back on the road again. Also, anything else I want to talk about before we wrap things up? No. We definitely need to go into the mines for, you know, so we can craft more of the floral fort. Oh, that trader always gets me. Do we have a screenshot of this? Probably not, but it's not kind of related to the episode, so I can't use this as a thumbnail. But anyway. Alright, more cobbled deep slate. Because the projects need it. The projects need all of it. Oh, where's our the right underside? Again, my astigmatism is not helping. Cobblestone. Okay, we actually got plenty of cobblestone for the moment. But that's what I want to talk about today. And yeah, I mean, people are doubting, you know, Jesus is coming, you know, on the 23rd. Most of them are doubting it because they think that's going to be rapture instead of the fact that Revelation is coming to an end. Because it says so in the book. Like, you know, we're very much past the sixth bowl. Like I don't know the quote in the Bible, but you know there are 7 bowls and 6 seals or so. I'm talking about the bowls. The bowls are poured and events happen. And the 6th one was increased solar activity, was pouring on the sun, which induced earthquakes on the earth, and that has happened. That is, you know, since then stopped happening or slowing down. So we're getting ready for victory, and I think somewhere in the Bible, somewhere in the New Testament, it does say that before victory, there's a revival of Christians after our downturn, or there's a revival of believers in God after a big downturn over the course of the tribulations. Like I said, tribulation has been the last 10 years or so, and the rest, and in the last 30, and Revelation started with my conception in 1995, and is ending around my 3rd birthday, because I'm a boss like that. I run a tight ship. I mean, also, like, I'm able to you know, I'm able to go back to, you know, I'm able to, you know, have simple habits again, like shaving my facial hair, brushing my teeth on time, doing my eardrops in my ears to prevent them from hurting. I'm able to take on new thyroid medicine, or not new thyroid medicine, new to me thyroid medicine, which is not exactly something that works with my lifestyle, but I have to, or else I'll go comatose, and apparently that's something that's only in textbooks. Because it never happens, because it's simple, you take pill, before, take a pill an hour before food, uh, when you wake up, and that's that. Take a pill on fasting essentially. So yeah, there's a lot I'm what I'm saying. The signs I'm saying is we are close to victory. We are close to me and Casey have high fiving, and we win. We can then proceed from there with the new Game of Life, the sequel to the Game of Life. And yeah, I can't wait to see what comes on the other end. It won't be what most people think are coming. It will be a new heaven and a new earth. New heaven is, the base of the fan of life. The fan of life is a structure that is made to provide infinite resources based on a 0-point reactor I buried in Sol, the sun of this earth, in Delta Zero, with all the evildoers, the Null Force, the Devil Lilith, and their most vile demons. That's what the Bible would call the abyss, I think. Even if their timing is incorrect, I don't think there's an abyss before, but I believe there's an abyss now. And that abyss is essentially the new hell. We threw out the old hell because it wasn't doing its job. There is still the old hell attached to the old heaven. And the old heaven's still at the beating heart of, Big G. The light bulb version of myself, or my spaceship, more accurately. No, the light bulb version of myself is who I was before I took upon a more familiar form for the mortals. And look across Chip Cloud. Oh, what good timing. Even though it's more of a plus sign, but still. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. And we'll see what happens the 23rd of September 2025. It's coming up in, 9 days or so. So we'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure something will happen, even if it's only visible for us, dearest heroes. But we shall see. Alright, that is so.